We start off Battle City 4 with a triple threat tornado tag hardcore match in the quarterfinals of the Mirror Force Championship Tournament. Introducing first, the former 780-day reigning champions of the CIW Tag Team Division, the Justice Leaguers Aquaman and Batman. Hello everybody, once again, and welcome to Battle City number 4. I am the Sentinel. We are so excited to bring you more tournament action. This the third of our 4 quarterfinal matchups to take place for this Mirror Force Championship Tournament. Of course, all throughout Battle City, we've got 3 tournaments ongoing: the Millennium Championship, the Mirror Force Championship, and the Ash Blossom Championship. The winners of those tournaments get an opportunity at any of those respective CIW titles of their choosing at the time of their choosing. And here comes these two. The next pair of participants, the Riddler and Ganondorf. Ganiddler. As Ganiddler, I hate I don't even know the words. I'm writhing in uncomfortable dirt. I feel filthy just with these two. What these two have perpetrated on CIW programming, it is a big part of what facilitated the CIW Council of 6, as these two have a very innocuous relationship, as we are not quite sure the full extent of it, nor do we want to, but we've got a pretty good scope. But Ganondorf has got the size, the Riddler has got that slimy way about him. It makes him difficult to pin. In a way, of course, you always have to question his motives. But these two have been a force formerly part of the Greasy Green Gigolos, no longer, as the Greasy Green Gigolos have already advanced in this Mirror Force Championship Tournament. And now the final 2 participants. The SPD Rangers, Jack Landors, the Red Ranger, and Skylar, excuse me. Bridge is the Green Ranger, who was unsuccessful last week in becoming the #1 contender for the Exceeds Championship, unfortunately won by Majin King. But the SPD Rangers, they have a lot of momentum on their side, and it's a very interesting state of affairs for the SPD Rangers as they could advance in this tournament. But we have also confirmed today that next week on Saturday Night Hype, we are going to get a #1 contenders match for the CIW Tag Team Championships proper at Massacre, our next big event. But we will get to that in a second. Let's first take you now to the tournament bracket. Mirror Force Championships, Round 1. Here we go. And it is one fall to a finish here, which means only 1 pin is necessary somewhere in the stratosphere of all 6. I will do my best to do as much commentary and stay on top of all this as I can, as it is going to be equally difficult for referee Luke Goss to keep control of the situation, undoubtedly. As we were just mentioning, the SPD Rangers are actually getting a #1 contenders match next week against the Paradox Brothers, who had a big win over Noob Smoke last week on Hype. As we have found out, wait, what is Batman doing? Batman, it's got the Riddler on the top rope, and a big back suplex right into the pile, and a back suplex from Ganondorf as well. And a stomp to the gut as the DC, that formerly done carrying, which the Justice Leaguers were a part of, ultimately lost those championships because the Riddler got pinned by the Greasy Green Gigolos and a sharpshooter from Batman. And that relationship ended up so badly that DC ended up just kicking Riddler out. Cover 1, 2, and Ganondorf there to save the matchup for his team. And so there's a bit of animosity from Batman and as Aquaman for the Riddler for being just maybe one of the worst faction participants of all time, the worst Greasy Green Gigolo, the worst member of DC, and that's including the Flash, mind you. So let's put that into perspective, as the Riddler is still trying to find his way, and a neck breaker there from Aquaman, and a headlock takeover there from the Blue Ranger, and a nice hip toss from Skylar. as Jack Landors and Skylar, and boy, what a turnaround the Rangers would be. And imagine if the Rangers win this and get a CAW tag team opportunity. Now, if that's the case and they win the Mirror Force Championships, I think they would ultimately have to just release them because they already have the belt. And a superplex from Batman down to the Riddler again, and now the weapons have begun as Ganondorf is I don't know what, he looks greasier, well, not greasier, but shinier. And I'm afraid he just put some sort of Garuda lubricant on over here by the oh God, the desk has got some sort of goop on it. Oh dear. I'm not even sure what to make of that. And the Blue Ranger is Blue Ranger's trying to touch it. Skylar, get away from that. Get away from that, dude. That's not healthy. Oh, and now a chair shot from from Riddler as the weapons are abundant here. And my grammar is suffering as a result. And now Batman to the top rope and an elbow drop. Hit both of Ganiddler, but I'm not sure that Batman didn't hurt himself in the process. As the Red Ranger and Aquaman both wielding weapons in the center of the ring. Falls do count anywhere. And oh, wait a minute, Batman, no, don't do this, dude. You don't need to, don't do that. He's gonna like that. He's gonna like, no, he's smiling. No, and Ganondorf, don't touch the loop, no. Oh, this is, no, please, somebody, security. Somebody, Mr. Clean, facilities, anybody. Oh God, it's everywhere. Oh, we're gonna have to sterilize this table. I'm so glad I didn't bring any food as a cover and not enough. Yeah, of course, because the Riddler is fully enjoying himself. He needs a change of tights and a punch. This is not the kind of hardcore I wanted in this matchup. This is not what this tournament was about. As that, I don't even know what to say. I'm greatly disturbed. As oh, what a flying crossbody! 1, 2, and only 2! As Batman flew all the way over the top rope, over the stairs, and collided with the Riddler. What an amazing move, but he did just get choked out with a sledgehammer as Aquaman hits Blue Ranger with a barbed wire bat. A punch to the goal. Wait a second. Jack Landors just hit the Brain Buster. That big brain buster he calls the Space Patrol Delta, but Riddler able to break up at least a pinning attempt that he might have gone for. Batman going for a back suplex. Riddler going for a back suplex and succeeds, but he is not looking good. Boy, what a wild opening matchup this has been. We still have an Ash Blossom Championship quarterfinal coming up next. And of course, our main event, the final quarterfinal for the Millennium Championship. 4 men vying for their shot. Mr. Clean is actually here tonight. He's in the main event. So yeah, we're gonna need to have him work his ambassador of facilities job. And a spike pile driver, a pullover pile driver from Batman. Aquaman taking a minute, as looks like the Justice Leaguers are starting to regroup here. And I think that the Blue Ranger and the Red Ranger are starting to something. I think their visors might be a little marred here. And another pullover pile driver from Batman, as Blue Ranger just trying to hit everything in sight. All of this to advance. Of course, after this week, we have one more quarterfinal matchup for the tag team for the, oh, wait a minute, Bat Punch to the Riddler. As then he is on the other side of the ring. The cover here. 1, 2, 3, and Batman pins the Riddler. As the other Rangers were the SPD Rangers were focused on Ganondorf, as we got a myriad of back suplexes, that great splash, but ultimately that was not enough to put it away. It would require the Bat Punch, an emphatic Bat Punch, to finally get the job done as the Justice Leaguers advance in the Mirror Force Championship tournament. As that was wild. There was some disturbing, it was hardcore, all right, as we are going to pay the TV network and we are going to bring you to the bracket. And now let's get you prepared for our next matchup. Our second contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Ash Blossom Quarterfinals. Introducing first, former member of the Natalie World Order and current affiliate with the Shades of Black, or the shades of bald, as it were, although it's pretty much just Agent 47 now, after Riddick has been converted to Majin Riddick. So Evey Hammond here on her own from the V for Vendetta movie. And I don't think they ever made a video game for V for Vendetta, but it would be quite fun if they did. But it's more of a cerebral movie anyway, so I'm not sure how you'd convert that to a game. But Evey Hammond, she's got one or two wires crossed in that brain of hers, but that makes her just the right amount of unhinged to make her a potential victor and a dark horse in this tournament, as we have had quite a tournament of this. But she is facing an unknown here, as here comes Lana Kane of the TV show Archer. From Manhattan, New York. As Lana is very excited to bring Lana Kane to CIW, as she has been one of the major agents at the agency formerly known as ISIS, ISIS. You heard that right, folks, because they made that show. They did it for like 3 seasons, and then all like actual ISIS showed up, and then that became a problem. So then they like converted it to Archer Vice, and then they did like coke sales, and then Archer went into a coma. But the point is, Lana Kane, who has got the lethal Tech 9s on her side, as she is excited to make her presence felt here in CIW. But let's take a look at the the Ash Blossom bracket before we get this matchup started.
Ash Blossom Championship, Round 1.
Here we go. Lana sizably taller than Evey Hammond, but that lower vertical, that lower ground by Evey Hammond definitely more helpful for the big swing. But Lana starting off by taking a little bit of distance. Might have seen that unhinged look in the eye of Evey Hammond, but a nice right hand there from Lana to get things started, as Lana, as trained in Krav Maga, as evidenced by that punch to the dick, because from what I understand, that's the majority of it. But there is Lana Kane definitely wants to be more popular than she is. I think she thinks that she's incredibly likable, but I'm not sure that's the way she comes across. I think she comes off as stern and always kind of bitchy and lectury. But Evey Hammond, she just got no time for lectures. But now is not the time to talk. Now is the time to fight. And so far, Lana Kane doing a great job of wrapping up Evey Hammond, as we have got a bow and arrow here, an impressive bow and arrow into the back and the spine of Evey. And we will see what comes of this matchup here, as we've got a lot of victors already. We saw Padme Amidala has advanced, Ivy Valentine's has advanced, and now we are going to see whether Lana Kane or Evey Hammond will be able to join the fray. We also have, in a couple of weeks, We Fit Trainer and Wonder Woman coming up, and there's more matchups there. Another debut, as we've got Taya Gardner in the tournament. It's going to be a great time as the Battle City continues. But Lana Kane right now still just taking her time. And I think that's what she needs to do. This needs to be calculated. You know, an agent in the field as ISIS or I forget what there was a name that they changed themselves to I think they just called themselves the Agency, if I'm not mistaken. But I again, that was in the later seasons, and I have not rewatched the later seasons as much as I have watched to death the first 3 or 4. And a nice body slam there from Evey Hammond. Evey Hammond definitely has more of a smash mouth offense, but she's not afraid to get technical herself. We've seen her do some surprisingly slow and deliberate maneuvers while she's on this like unhinged rage. It's a very interesting set of emotions and rage of emotions, and a nice arm twist there that bringing the entire body down face first, and a punch to the dick, or a punch to the meat wall, excuse me. Message sent. I don't believe Evey Hammond has a dick. As a bow and arrow again, but too close to the ropes, and Evey Hammond, or Lana Kane, almost looked like she was going to exploit referee Luke Goss's count, but decided against it. A stiff punch to the gut. Lana Kane in her debut match in CIW here in Battle City. And I do have to give credit to Maximilian Pegasus, the owner and the runner, and the executive producer of this show, the counselor for Battle City, who has acquired multiple new women's talents to showcase And that is something that we sorely need in CIW, to see fresh faces, to be able to give opportunities to those that you don't really see in E-Federations elsewhere. And that is what I think the Pegasus is bringing to the table here. You know, and a nice backbreaker there from Lana with those massively long legs and the monster hands that she's now just driving into the skull of Evey Hammond. But, you know, when Pegasus first became part of management, you know, I was dreading it because of the way that it happened. But I've got to admit, a nice big back suplex there from Evey with a good counter. That I have to admit that Battle City has turned into something that oh, what a running kitchen sink. I appreciate what Pegasus had in mind. I didn't see the vision at first, but I now do. And I'm glad Pegasus is here. I'm not the biggest fan of his personality, but I am glad that he's here, and I'm glad that he made this change to CIW, because I think it has helped CIW for the better. And we are grateful for everything that Pegasus, you know, albeit his means were not great, the ends have kind of softened all that blow. And oh, what a lariat! A stiff lariat from Evey Hammond after dragging Lana into the turnbuckle, and 2 shoulder thrusts. As Evey, while she might be smaller than Lana, still has a significant amount of power. And oh, and there's a spear from Evey Hammond right there, and that is a perfect example of that. Oh, wait a second. Here it comes. The V-trigger, known as the V-swing. And boy, she got all of it. And that could be the end of Lana's debut in CIW. 1, 2, 3. Only 2. As Lana Kane kicks out of the V-trigger. And boy, what a V-trigger it was. As Evey definitely not going to end it there, and it couldn't end it there, but you could tell that that has thrown Evey a little bit. And oh, or maybe not, as a big running drop kick has got Lana flustered. As Lana holding her gut here, this has been a lot of Evey Hammond. And Evey now going up to the top. What she got planned here, and an elbow drop and caught her. As I think this matchup in CIW might be a little bit more than Lana Kane anticipated here. As much as she is a very adept field agent, it's a different animal in Colonial Impact Wrestling, and Lana Kane has found that out the hard way. And oh, what a running neck breaker there from Evey. Of course, folks, stay tuned. We still have our main event coming up. Referee Luke Goss's count up to 6. Countouts will cause Evey to advance, but Lana gets back in the ring, tries to go for another running knee, and now a series of strikes countered by Lana. And a right forearm of her own. But it's going to take more than just the stray right hand in order to beat Evey Hammond on this night. With the winner of this tournament getting a women's championship matchup at the time of their choosing when they decide to cash in the Ash Blossom Championship. As that is the most lucrative prize that we're organizing here in the Battle City tournaments that will be ongoing, and once one tournament ends, another begins, and that is the way that Battle City will always be run. And a nice leg lock there from Lana, and smartly trying to eliminate the vertical base from Evey Hammond so she cannot land that swing, which requires a lot of leg power and a lot of core strength. And Lana, what's Lana doing here? Lana going up to the top, and oh, what an arm drag. That arm drag just vaulted Evey Hammond halfway across the ring. I think Evey landed on her head. That was rough. 1, 2, 3. As Lana Kane, boy, that was a rough landing. Lana did a lot of the body damage in the early going, tying Evey Hammond up there, but Evey was able to counter a good number of times, but ultimately a giant arm drag over the top, and boy, 1, 2, 3 it was, as Lana Kane has surprised us all, and all it takes is one move. All it takes is one large impact, and that could be the end of your night and the beginning of a semi-final berth. Congratulations, Lana Kane, to win your debut. Let's take a look at the tournament bracket and then our main event. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our main event. Introducing first in this Millennium Championship quarterfinal matchup, he is the ambassador for facilities, he is Mr. Clean. As Mr. Clean, I had a victory over the Prince of Persia back at the Fallout. As Mr. Clean, we were talking about Maximilian Pegasus, but one of the things that bothered me about Maximilian Pegasus was getting Mr. Clean to basically quit on CIW and then was rehired when Pegasus got leadership position. But there's something about Mr. Clean right now that just, I don't know. I thought that Mr. Clean was the most loyal member of CIW, but we've kind of been shown over the years that that's not the case. And I'm still trying to come to terms with that, but introducing second. He is the man, half demon. He's got a brother Nero and a father Virgil, or the other way around. JOSHAGEDDON isn't here to correct my lore, but he is a man who has made both Satan and the Grim Reaper his Helheim bitches. He is Dante. And Dante was one pinfall away from being named the #1 contender for the CIW World's title back at the first main event of CIW in 2026 when he faced his good friend Sephiroth. As Sephiroth, who we have seen in a heated battle with Liu Kang as they get ready for their alleged, if it is Liu Kang in fact, who makes it to the main event of Riot Central 3. But here comes Pepsiman as they're on a collision course for the TAW title, but here comes a man who held the TAW TF Championship, Pepsiman. Pepsiman has had a very interesting career in CIW, as mentioned before, defended the TAW TF title here against Wario, had a brief flirtation as Pepsi Zero, and then was repatriated as part of Captain Planet's DVD program, as well as his workout regimen and diet. Captain Planet is an all-around fixer. He actually converted Mr. Clean at one point, as he was Dr. Dirty and got repatriated as Mr. Clean, but it hasn't really changed Mr. Clean's attitude. But here comes Freddy Krueger, our final participant, as Freddy Krueger had a very long feud with Bully Maguire over the entirety of 2025. Tobey Maguire, the former CIW champion, symbiote Spider-Man, who lost that CIW championship as a result of what this man has done, who is also a former TAW and CIW champion, but he has not had much success in a very long time, and this tournament could be Freddy's opportunity. It could be Freddy's opportunity to get back into the mix, but Freddy has to close. He always gets a lead, but he's never able to close, as we saw it happen with his matchup against Bully Maguire in that lights out match that Bully ended up winning with Freddy's own Nightmare on Elm Street after literally everything happened in that matchup at the WrestleBration 12, as this rounds out our Millennium Championship Tournament quarterfinals, as the winner of this matchup will go on to face Rasad and King Leonidas in 2 weeks' time in the main event of our, or I'm sorry, not in 2 weeks' time, but in 4 weeks' time on May 9th. We will face those two, but let's take a look at the bracket here before we get in to our main event matchup.
Millennium Championship Tournament, Round 1.
Here we go. And went for a heel kick immediately to Freddy, and Dante got a drop toe hold for his trouble. Tried to get Freddy on the jump, and Freddy having none of it. Now, I don't know what the relationship is between whatever Freddy Krueger is and demons and hell. You know, I'm not sure how related those are, but all four of these guys would love the opportunity to face Rasad and King Leonidas in that semifinal triple threat. The other half of that bracket, and a nice Dante pop cover here, and now immediately being kicked out of it was Freddy Krueger. And the other half of that is Kratos versus Mitsurugi versus Captain Planet. That will be the main event on April 25th in 2 weeks' time. But we have got a major match, but we still have one more spot to fill. And which one of these four will be able to do it? And a nice DDT from Dante. As the championship credentials of this matchup really kind of revolve mostly around Freddy Krueger, but a former tag team champion in Mr. Clean in his Dr. Dirty persona. And now a nice knee there, exploiting the knee, both knees. You know, stiffening up one leg by stomping it onto the mat. Of course, trying to jam up that hip, as well as injuring the knee on knee contact. But a neck breaker there, a spinning neck breaker, a rotating one, depending on how you view it. As we thank you all for watching Battle City number 4. Stay tuned next week for another big episode of Saturday Night Hype. We also are going to have our yet another Past Gen Wrestling matchup, as they are going to be leading off the show this time around. They're going to start things off on CIW, so then we can get on to the good stuff. Roll up one and only one by Freddy Krueger, or I'm sorry, on the Freddy Krueger by Mr. Clean. And that's the difficulty of a Fatal 4-Way, one fall to a finish, which means, as I've said in every single Fatal 4-Way matchup we've had, oh, what a dive! A plancha to the outside, a tope almost, as Freddy went and landed somewhat on the body of Pepsiman. Oh, God. And Dante choke slamming Mr. Clean on the outside, as Dante has just been going off on anyone and anything he can grab, as he knows how close he got to being a world's champion, knowing that Sephiroth beat Sagat, who is still on vacation, by the way. He got married, he's in Maui, and we will update you as we know when he's going to come back. He has no timetable, but I will confirm that Sagat has signed a multi-year extension with CIW as of 3 weeks ago. You know, we've been communicating, you know, online. We've got a group chat, and we finally banged out and hammered out those details. So but we don't know the timetable of his return, but he will return. And now, oh, a nice double team there. I don't know whether they did it on purpose. Dante, actually, it's kind of funny. Dante made Freddy Krueger help him pin somebody else. Dante, ever the troll, making Freddy assist him on a sunset flip. And now, and oh God, another pop here. Could be it. 1, 2, and oh, so close, as Pepsiman just breaks it up and Dante not appreciating it. And oh, Dante, wait a minute. Dante, he's making the call. Is he gonna dial up the 666? Freddy is busted open. And could this be the end of Freddy's night? The pop, the cover, one and only one, as both Mr. Clean and Pepsiman get back into the ring. Mr. Clean and Pepsiman, certainly no strangers, had a couple of fights between the two of them during the Pepsi Zero days. A big choke slam to Freddy, as Dante has really started to lay it in to Freddy Krueger, and a high knee to the back. As oh, what is Dante doing here? And Dante with a choke buckle bomb. And oh God, oh, and what's happening with Pepsiman? Just, oh God, tossing Mr. Clean all the way over. As Mr. Clean is out, dear God, Dante's the only one standing. And now, oh no, not another 666. And boy, this could be the opening that he's looking for. As Mr. Clean, well, where's Mr. Clean going? Clean's going to the top rope. He's going for the pop. He dove on Pepsiman. The cover. 1, 2, 3. And what a miscalculation from Mr. Clean, as Freddy Krueger falls victim to Dante, not once, but twice in this matchup. 2, 6, 6, 6. That is 12, 12, 12, and don't check that math, ladies and gentlemen, but Dante is your winner, and he has got a date in the Triple Threat semifinals of the Millennium Championship tournament. What a definitive win for Dante, a known tournament successor. But folks, let's take you quickly to the bracket. Thank you all for coming to Battle City, and we will see you next week.